On today's Strictly Vikings, we're going to recap the Vikings versus Falcons game as Minnesota dominated Kirk Cousins. Dominated Kirk Cousins. I got some things to say about Kirk. Let's just say that. We'll take our side eye look around the league. Some shakeup in the NFC North after that Lions-Packers game on Thursday night. We'll take our Facebook scroll of the week. The hot topic this week, should the Vikings pay Sam Darnold? We're going to discuss that as well. We're going to preview the Bears Monday Night Football game. I got my whiteout on. You got to get your whiteout gear if you're going. The Vikings jerseys are going to look icy out on US Bank Stadium. And of course, we'll finish it off with our Chat GPT player of the day. Let's get into it. Today is Wednesday, December 11th, and there is no reason the Minnesota Vikings should not be considered Super Bowl contenders. Let's put it this way. Let's start with the offense. You have Sam Darnold playing as an MVP caliber quarterback. You have the best wide receiver duo in the entire league. You have a top tight end. You have an efficient running game, and you have an offensive line that's pretty serviceable. Not to mention a head coach that is unstoppable in one-score games. And an offensive head coach that knows how to call plays for an offense. Then you go to the defense. You got a defensive coordinator that makes his guys perform week in and week out. You have two guys with 9+ sacks. You're second in the league in takeaways, and you're one of the best teams in the NFL in rush defense. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. Why not the Minnesota Vikings? Why not? And let me tell you, this matchup against Kirk Cousins, I made a video about it. I'm not sure if you guys saw it or not, but Kirk Cousins needs to return that money to the Atlanta Falcons, to the Minnesota Vikings, because what he's doing to these franchises is unacceptable. He's stealing. He is stealing from these franchises. $160 million from the Falcons for a performance like that? For 7 or 8 interceptions in your last 4 games, no touchdowns, brutal stuff. And to put the cherry on top, the Vikings quarterback who got paid $10 million, about a fourth of what you were getting in Minnesota, lit it up for 5 touchdowns right in front of you. Right in front of the fan base that watched you fail for 6 whole years. And you can sit here and tell me Kirk Cousins wasn't that bad. And I agree. Kirk Cousins wasn't that bad as a Minnesota Viking. I always liked him when he was a Minnesota Viking. He was the quarterback of my favorite team. I'm going to root for him. I'm going to pull for him. And I'm always going to hope that he'll be all right. He's a great guy. And I'm not talking about the Kirk Cousins as a guy. I'm talking about him as a player. So let's not get it twisted. But when you're here for 6 seasons and you sign a contract for the most guaranteed money in NFL history at the time, and the Vikings extend you, and you have 1 playoff win to show of it, it's not a good sign. It's really not a good sign when the year the Vikings move on from you, they bring on a career backup who hasn't done anything in the NFL, who hasn't accomplished anything, and he's already got this team at 11-2. And of course, it's because the flexibility of the money gets more help on this Vikings defense. They're able to sign guys like John Grenard, Van Ginkel, Stephon Gilmore, Shaq Griffin, Blake Cashman. They're able to sign all those guys because of the money they saved from moving on from Kirk Cousins. And I understand that. But that just shows you the flexibility and the chokehold Kirk Cousins had on this team and its ability to maximize its roster with a $40 million per year contract. It's crazy to me. So the NFL couldn't have written a better script with Sam Darnold lighting it up for a career high 5 touchdowns. Oh, and by the way, how many times has Kirk Cousins had 5 touchdowns in his career? None. How many times did Kirk Cousins put up 42 points in 88 games as a Viking? He did it once. Sam Darnold has done it once in 13 games. We're talking about 75 less games. And Sam Darnold has already matched the amount of 42-point games Kirk Cousins had in his entire 6 years with the Minnesota Vikings. That's saying something. Let's get into it. We're going to start with the offense like we always do. The offensive line could have been better on some downs, but it didn't wreck the game. The Falcons came in to this game with the least amount of sacks in the NFL, and then they rushed 3 on back-to-back plays and they got sacks. That's what was really making me mad. This is a team that can't rush the passer, and the Vikings were making them look like a team that can. So, again, it didn't wreck the game. The offensive line got better as the game went on. Obviously, missing Christian Darrisaw is big. I don't think Cam Robinson's been bad. But, you've had some switch up on that offensive line. You're 2 new pieces from then what you started with at the beginning of the season. So it'll take some time to mesh. It'll take some time to get better, but they didn't ruin the game. Obviously, the Vikings won by a lot, so we move on. Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson are, let me say that again. Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson are the best wide receiver duo in all of football. There's no arguing that. Jordan Addison is far and above a lot of wide receiver ones in this league, I believe. I believe if he went to other NFL teams, he would be the wide receiver 1 on a lot of them. He is the perfect complement to Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson can do it all. Let's put it that way. But Jordan Addison is the perfect complement, slot guy, whatever you need him to do. Deep ball, speed outs for a touchdown, whatever it is. Jordan Addison does it all too. 12 targets for Addison, 7 for Jefferson. And I think I said it a couple podcasts ago that 16 targets needs to be the minimum for these two. Obviously, we finished with 19, so that is huge. I think that is the absolute minimum. You need to be feeding these guys on a week in, week out basis. They're just too talented to not get them the ball. And I'm aware Justin Jefferson's going to get doubled, triple teamed, but there's ways to get him the ball without passing it downfield. You can throw screens. You can get him into the backfield. And I'm not saying hand it off to him, but I'm saying run routes out of the backfield. Make a linebacker cover him. There's a million ways to get them the ball. Kevin O'Connell is brilliant at scheming up ways to get them the ball, and that needs to continue because these guys are uncoverable. And I get that the Falcons secondary is trash, and they proved that this past Sunday. But at the same time, that's just how unstoppable J.A. and J.J. are. Will Reichert missed a kick. I'm not very concerned about it. I mean, if he was aiming for the upright, my God, he drilled it because he drilled it upright. I can't even imagine how loud that doink was inside US Bank Stadium. But I'm not too concerned with it. First game back, he made the extra points. In the situation of his first field goal back and he missed to where John Parker Romo was, electric and almost automatic. It kind of sucked. Shout out John Parker Romo, by the way. He got signed by the Patriots, I believe, today. Shout out to him. It sucked, but I'm not concerned. Will Reichert was consistent before he got hurt. He missed a couple. First game back, he missed one. He'll get back on track. I'm not really worried about it. Let's get into some Sam Darnold talk. Kirk Cousins never would have made some of the plays that Darnold was making. That touchdown to Jefferson made maybe 3 or 4 guys miss in the pocket, did a great job moving his feet, sliding out to his right, stepping up, dropping a beautiful pass to Justin Jefferson. And I know the free safety played it terribly, but that's just a sign of extending plays, keeping your eyes downfield, and finding your best player. That is huge. And that is what's most important with Sam Darnold, is keeping his eyes downfield. And I know he has this habit of holding the ball too long, but I think when he holds the ball too long, he stays in the pocket. He's got to have that internal clock of 1, 2, 3. Okay, if I don't have the ball out, I should either be looking to scramble and extend this play, or I should take off with it or throw it away. It shouldn't be, I'm just going to sitting here patting the ball, waiting for the defensive line to collapse on me. He's been caught doing that a couple of times in weeks past, but he did a great job on Sunday extending the plays, keeping his eyes downfield, and then also running for some. I don't think he ran for some first downs, but just, converting 2nd and 10s to 3rd and shorts, stuff like that. He was so close to having a perfect passer rating. I believe he was just a couple yards off, if I did my research right, on having a perfect passer rating of 158.3. I think he had like 157 point something. So very close. He needs to be mentioned in MVP conversations. If we're going to look at the stats of Jared Goff, of Patrick Mahomes, of anyone you want to compare him to, Sam Darnold is towards the top of any list in the NFL. I think he's top 6 in yards, top 5 in touchdowns. I think he's top 10 in completion percentage. He's up there. He is up there. He might have the best stats in the entire NFC North. You can compare them to Jordan Love's and Jared Goff's. I won't do that today because I'm not really a stat breaker downer on this show. But if you want to go look it up, it's awfully close. And the fact that those are their franchise guys and Sam Darnold's just the bridge guy for us, it says something about this coaching staff. Let's put it that way. Wrapping it up on the offensive side of things here, you can't complain really much about anything. I mean, it was clicking, and they kind of proved what can happen in that fourth quarter when the offense is clicking. Absolutely unstoppable. And the fact that you're clicking or you're peaking in December and January, that's when you need to be playing your best ball. You don't want to peak too early. You don't want to peak too late. You want to be playing your best ball right about now, 4 weeks to go in the season. The Vikings are doing it, and you absolutely love to see it. Let's go over to the defensive side of the ball. Jalen Redmond. I mean, what is this guy on? UFL guy, cut him in the middle of the season, brought him back, and he's been making plays ever since he's got in. I mean, the Vikings might have released their secret weapon here. Jalen Redmond is an absolute stud. He got a game ball last week. He might have been deserving of one this week. He didn't get one, but he might have been deserving of one. Unbelievable stuff from Jalen Redmond. Keep it up. Dallas Turner, you could actually notice him out on the field. Might have been a little bit of a coming out party. He smoked Kirk Cousins on an incompletion. Smoked Kirk Cousins. You love to see the Vikings' first round pick being able to drill the former quarterback of the team when he's playing for the opponents. He just looked a lot better. Brian Flores said today in his press conference that him and Dallas Turner has had some one-on-one private conversations in B-Flow, kind of telling Dallas what the expectations are from him, what he needs to do as a rookie, what he needs to do to help this team win, instead of maybe playing the selfish way a couple times that could get you caught in your first couple weeks as an NFL player. So good to hear that B-Flow is encouraging him. And he also said that Dallas Turner is going to have a great career in the NFL. So that's very encouraging words to hear. But yeah, you could just notice Dallas Turner out there on the field this week. Josh Metellus, he got his lick back for Minnesota. Got his lick back. We wanted to have Kirk Cousins walk out of US Bank Stadium with at least an interception. He walked out of there with 2. Josh Metellus, Byron Murphy, perfect guys to pick him off. Guys that played with Kirk Cousins, guys that respect Kirk Cousins, but you know damn well they wanted to pick that man off, and they did it. Byron Murphy did it in extraordinary fashion with the one-handed catch. He only needed one, and Josh Metellus just kind of read Kirk Cousins' eyes and stepped in front of the wide receiver and picked it off. And not to mention, another fantastic celebration. Fantastic. White Chicks, one of my all-time favorite movies. If you guys haven't seen it, it is absolutely hilarious. One of the funniest movies of all time. Great celebration by them. White Chicks dancing, break. Awesome. It's awesome. And it gets the Vikings clicks. I think they like that. The Wolves, I don't know how locked in they are to social media, but they got to be loving that Metellus and Bynum are getting them all the clicks they could ask for. Jamin Davis. Don't know how to say your first name, brother. Welcome to the team. Big sack, though. Former first-round pick, signed him with Ivan Pace going down. Big sack. Love to see it. Making plays. First game for the team. I thought Shaquille Griffin had that interception when Drake London, I guess, came down with it. There was a clear shot of Griffin having 2 balls, or no, did he? 2 balls. 2 hands on the ball, going down to the ground with Drake London having one of his hands on the ball and the other off of it. I'm not sure how you can not call that an interception after seeing that replay. I get that the call on the field was a catch for Drake London, and that's probably why they didn't reverse it. But at the same time, if you call it a defensive interception on the field, they're not going to reverse it. KOC hummed that challenge flag, hummed it. Former NFL quarterback Kevin O'Connell hummed it onto the field. He hit the numbers, putting that NFL arm to use. Love to see that. It's a sign of a good coach being able to hum that challenge flag. Anyway, I thought that was an interception. Kirk could have walked out of there with 3. That would have been amazing. 0 touchdowns for Kirk, though. 0 touchdowns for Kirk. I would have loved to seen Kirk Cousins go down a couple more times, like sacks-wise. Although, and I'm not saying that just because he's Kirk Cousins. I'm saying I would like to see a couple more sacks from this defense. But at the same time, they forced the turnovers. They got in Kirk's head a little bit. I think they did an outstanding job, especially in the fourth quarter, really sealing the deal, making it a no-stress watch for the Minnesota Vikings fans, which we haven't had that since like week 2 or 3. So it's been a while since we've had a no-stress watch in the fourth quarter. It was great to see that. 0 touchdowns and 8 interceptions for Cousins in his last 4 games. That is crazy. That is crazy. You can't tell me the Vikings didn't make the right move with that. Wrapping it up here, Vikings versus Falcons. Vikings have the 3rd best record and 4th best point differential in the NFL. Don't know what more you could ask for. You play who you play on the schedule. We still got some tough games remaining. Seahawks, Packers, Lions, even the Bears. Why not throw the Bears in there? Tough games, but all very winnable. So let's go out and do it. But Super Bowl contenders, I mean, if you're 3rd best record and 4th best in point differential, I don't know how people can sit here and say they're not one of the best teams in the entire league. The Lions, Packers, and Vikings are 28-3 against the rest of the NFL besides the North. I mean, we just run this division. This division runs the NFL. It's crazy. 28-3. So the Lions lost to the Bucks, the Packers lost to the Eagles, and the Vikings lost to the Rams. Those are the only losses these teams have suffered besides to each other. Crazy stuff. The Vikings are going to need the Lions to drop a game in order to have a shot at the NFC North title. Even if the Vikings win out, finish the season 15-2, and the Lions don't drop another one, the Minnesota Vikings would finish 2nd in the NFC North. Only the Minnesota Vikings would finish 15-2 and not win the division. That would only happen to the Vikings. Lions got the Bills this coming week. Bills coming off a loss. Hopefully, it's a great, great, great spot for the Bills to go into Ford Field and win. And obviously, we need the Eagles to lose probably too. I don't know how that tiebreaker is working, but maybe the Eagles lose another game too. But that's what we need the Vikings in order to get that 1 seed, in order to get that NFC North title. Sam Darnold versus JJ McCarthy. We're going to talk about this more in the Facebook scroll of the week. Here's my thoughts. You can't pay Sam Darnold. If you pay Sam Darnold, you're not going to be in the exact same situation you were with Kirk Cousins, but you're going to be in a very similar one. The flexibility of having a quarterback on a rookie deal gives you the ability to make the rest of the team a lot better. You're not tied up with 30, 40 million to one player. You got like 12 million for JJ McCarthy over like 4 years. It's beautiful. And that's where I think the Vikings need to do. I think it's all going to situate itself. The end of the season will give you a clear answer. The playoffs will give you an answer, and you'll go from there. But I do think this team needs a couple more pieces in order to be solidified, like we're all in right now, Super Bowl contenders. And I believe having a quarterback on a rookie deal gives you the flexibility to make that happen. So I believe they should roll with JJ McCarthy. You hand selected him in the draft. You invested a top 12 pick on him. So that's what needs to happen, in my opinion. Here we go. Side eye look around the league. Packers-Lions was a good game. Although we needed Green Bay to win, I'm never going to complain when they lose. I'm never going to sit here and bitch and moan and be sad and be upset if the Packers lose a game. I hate the Lions. Trust me. I hate the Lions. I hate their fans. They're the most annoying fan base in the NFL because they haven't had success in however many years. They got success and they don't know how to frickin' act. It's unbelievable to me. They don't know how to act with this stuff. And I hate it. And as much as I hate them, I will always hate the Packers more. There's no doubt about it. I will always hate the Packers more. The game was good. This Lions defense sketches me out. I don't think they're that good. And if they're in a tight game like they were, and they're relying on their defense to get a stop, can they get one? That's my question. Dan Campbell going for it on fourth down, not giving Jordan Love the ball back. Is that I'm Dan Campbell, I go for it on fourth down every single time? Or is that a Dan Campbell, I don't want my defense out there needing to make a game-winning stop because I know who's out there? They got a lot of injuries. They got guys coming back, but at the same time, I don't know how I'm feeling about this Lions defense. 49ers whomp the Bears. The Bears and the 49ers are like on the same track right now. Some weeks they look great. Some weeks they look terrible. The Bears look terrible this week. I think at some point in the second half, the total yardage was like 310 to 3. Or not second half, second quarter. That is awful. And the Bears put up some points to make it look respectable, but man, that game wasn't even close. Wasn't even close. Obviously, the Bears are coming into town this week. We'll preview that in a little bit here, but that was a gross performance. B-Flow's got to watch that film to see what the 49ers did. Eagles barely hang on to the Panthers. Xavier Legette dropped a game-winning touchdown. They honestly should have lost. So the Lions almost lose to the Bears on Thanksgiving. The Eagles almost lose to the Panthers on Sunday. And yet when the Vikings barely win a game, it's all anyone can talk about is how they can't beat teams like this. They can't beat teams like that. They can't do this. They can't do that. But when the Lions and Eagles playing close games, Super Bowl contenders, they pulled it out. What a great win for that team. What a gritty win for that squad. But no, never the Vikings. Never the Vikings. Bucks smoked the Raiders, so that means with the Falcons lost, they're winning the NFC South. That is significant for the Vikings because that is most likely the team that the Vikings will play in the playoffs if they don't win the NFC North. We're most likely going to play the division winner of the NFC South. So keep that in mind. Saints win, and they're all of a sudden in contention to win that division. Again, another possible opponent in the playoffs. Saints aren't out of it. I don't think they're going to win it. I think the Bucks are in line to win that division, but they're not out of it. Dolphins win in overtime against the Jets. New York stinks, dude. Like PU. They're terrible. Rodgers stinks. It's just like, I don't think the Giants have won a home game. Oh my God, it's just so bad, dude. It's just the state of New York football right now is so bad. I don't know what they can do to fix it, but man, they've dug themselves a deep hole, especially the Jets. It's terrible. Seahawks win a big one against the Cardinals. Teams who lose to the Vikings, I swear they suck the next week. So it makes me feel crummy about the win. Vikings beat the Cardinals, then they look terrible the next week. They can't go out there and get a win, so the Vikings win is like, dang, Vikings actually like beat up on a pretty good team. No, they all suck after the Vikings beat them. I don't get it. And we are playing some crummy teams, but like Cardinals are fighting for a playoff spot here. And now they just look like they suck. I don't know, but Seahawks look good. That's going to be a tough game. Not this coming week, but next. It's going to be a tough game. We'll see what happens here, but I don't know. Rams versus Bills, absolute classic. Josh Allen, the only guy who one-upped Sam Darnold's performance, but I'm not even sure if he did one-up him, to be honest. Like Josh Allen, he had 6 tutties, great. But 3 of them were 1-yard sneaks. So it's like, how impressive is that? 2 of them were, one was a screen to Ty Johnson, who that took like 45 yards. The other one was like a 10-yard in route to Shakir, who took it 50-some yards. Like, obviously Josh Allen is no doubt about it playing like the best quarterback in the NFL right now, but like, did he one up Sam Darnold's performance? I'm not too sure. It might have just been bad defense. But on the Rams side of things, huge win. The Rams, I mean, we lost to the Rams, and look at them. Puka and Cooper Kupp they're second to Jefferson and Addison for best wide receiver duos in the NFL. I think they're second right now. Puka Nacua is unbelievable. Puka Nacua needs to be in the Jefferson Chase conversations right now. That's the level this kid is playing at. Unbelievable stuff from Puka. Unstoppable. And the Rams are a good team. Great team. And I don't want to see them in the playoffs. If they were to win that division, and the Vikings might have to go to LA if they were to win that division, I don't want to do that. Rams are a great team, well coached, good quarterback. Man, they're doing it. Chiefs witchcraft once again. I mean, Doink in for the win, backup kicker. Jeez Louise. Just more and more witchcraft week in and week out for that team. It's unbelievable. I wish the Vikings had an ounce of that. An ounce. I wish the Vikings had 1 ounce of that witchcraft. I swear we'd be 8-time Super Bowl champions if we had an ounce of that Chiefs witchcraft. It's crazy. Bengals versus Cowboys, Jamar Chase, man. Let me tell you, second best wide receiver in the league. Easily. I don't know why you don't throw him the ball every single down. He's unbelievable. But at the same time, why is he getting this one-on-one coverage out here? Justin Jefferson doesn't get that. If Justin Jefferson got the coverage Jamar Chase would get, it'd be raps. It'd be touchdown every play. I don't get it. One-on-one on the goal line. When has Jefferson ever seen one-on-one in the goal line in the last 4 years? Doesn't make any sense to me. Cowboys still stink. I love watching the Cowboys lose. Let's get it straight. All right, Facebook scroll of the week here. We got some good ones. Some overreactions, of course. A lot of Sam Darnold talk. First one, the way our offensive line plays will not get us far into the playoffs. See, I think this is a little bit of an overreaction. I don't think the offensive line is that bad. People just like to blame the offensive line when they don't know what else to blame. Vikings defense is 28th in passing yards allowed. 28th in passing yards allowed because we have a big bend don't break mentality. I feel like we let the team get into our side of the field pretty easily, but then we usually sack up in the red zone. So as long as the red zone defense continues to perform and we don't allow touchdowns every single red zone drive, it's fine with me. If KOC won us a Super Bowl, would that make him better than Bud Grant? Yeah. When the Vikings win a Super Bowl, it's going to turn a lot of players into instant greatest of all times. It's going to turn a lot of coaches into instant greatest of all times in Vikings history. Whoever wins, like if Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl this year, I think you would have to consider him the greatest Minnesota Vikings quarterback of all time. And I know we've had some studs, and I know he's not going to have the numbers, but he's the only one that's been able to get it done, if you know what I mean. I think you just have to do that. If Kevin O'Connell wins a Super Bowl, he is the greatest Vikings coach of all time. He might have the numbers. He has the winning percentage. But at the same time, it's like, how can you not say it's him? He got it done. Bud Grant went to 4, didn't win any. Kevin O'Connell went to 1 and won it. Come on now. I don't give a crap what the stats say. Our defense is soft. I actually think the defense is the exact opposite of soft. I think this defense is hard-nosed, wins games, and they know what they're doing. I love this defense. Let's get it straight. Blake Cashman, irreplaceable. Ivan Pace is going to be coming back. This defensive line's been balling. Secondary's been playing a lot better. We got Jalen Redmond, the secret weapon. I don't think this defense is soft at all. Can someone loop the hit number 15 had on Kirko? The look on his face was priceless. We talked about this hit. Dallas Turner, he lit him up. No better feeling about our first-round rookie lighting up our old quarterback that we used to pay $40 million for nothing. Love that. The Vikings are 10-0 in games I've been to. If you guys really want to win a Super Bowl, you know what to do. And then he dropped his Venmo. Respect to this guy. I'm not going to pay him anything because I don't really think the Vikings winning has anything to do with this dude being there. But respect, because I definitely know he got some fans to Venmo him some money. I know that for sure. Not sure giving up 500 yards of offense to the lowly Kirk-led Falcons is great, but at least they won. Falcons suck, lost 4 straight. We get yet another cream puff next week, so 12-2. Looks like we are playing at Tampa to begin playoffs. I mean, there's no like there are cream puff games, don't get me wrong, but like the Falcons are a playoff team. If the playoffs started this past weekend, it would have been Vikings versus Falcons in Atlanta in the wild card round. So let's not say this was a cupcake team to play. Their defense stinks, and I get they're on a lull. But at the same time, this is a playoff caliber team. They're still in the mix to win the division. Tampa Bay is leading now, but they're still in the mix to win the division. And Tampa is 0-2 against Atlanta, I'm pretty sure. So Atlanta's setting up, they just got to win a couple more games out of these last 4. This one's a meme. It's a Vikings guy running behind a car, and it's the Lions in the car, and it says, "Objects in mirror are the exact same distance as 2 months ago. Seriously, just lose a fucking game. We're going to end the season 15-2 without winning the division." Facts. I went through this. They need to lose a game. Bills, Josh Allen, work your MVP magic. Come on, dude. The Vikings need a Lions loss. Let's get it done. I don't know if you guys saw this picture. It was the Atlanta Falcons posting the Cousins family, and it was his 2 kids, his wife. Great picture, great family photo. But then the first comment is, "Time for the Penix family." Wow. Wow. If I would have told you in July that on Kirk Cousins' return into US Bank Stadium, walking out of that stadium, Falcons fans would be wanting Michael Penix to start, man, that would be a dub of a game. Let me tell you, dub of a game. That's freaking awesome. Let's see here. In my opinion, Sam Darnold getting franchise tag or re-signed is all dependent on if KOC feels like he can turn the blank canvas he has in JJ McCarthy into what we're seeing from Sam, or if Sam is willing to come back on a team-friendly contract. I don't think Sam is going to come back on a team-friendly contract. I think if some team offers him the bag, he should take that. Why not? I get that your most successful season has been in Minnesota and that it might not be elsewhere if you go to a crummy team looking for a quarterback. But at the same time, dude, if someone's offering you a 3-year, $120 million deal, you got to take that. You got to take that. And the Vikings aren't going to offer you that. I don't think they're going to get even close to offering you that, especially with what they have invested in JJ McCarthy. So, I mean, Sam's got to chase the money, I feel like. And look, if Sam comes back, I'm going to be happy. Run it back. He's a great quarterback. Let's do it again. But at the same time, I just don't think the Vikings are going to offer anything close to that. So this is a funny one. I got 2 posts here. They were literally right next to each other. The top one said, "Darnold finally found an offense he can succeed in and coach that believes in him. Why would he leave and start over somewhere else? All the teams that will need quarterbacks are horrible. Why would he want to go into one of those situations?" The post literally directly below says, "Anyone else think the Darnold project should be over? He doesn't know how to get rid of the ball." I mean, that is just the definition of Vikings Facebook right there. We got one guy begging Sam Darnold not to leave, and we got the other guy saying the Sam Darnold experiment should be over. I mean, that is just the exact opposite. What are we doing here, Facebook? Disappointed at the booing at the beginning of the game against Cousins. Are the Philadelphia fans taking over the stadium? Complete classlessness. Looking at the likes, it looks like 2 out of 3 of the people agree with me. See, I don't mind booing Kirk Cousins at all. You're not booing the man. You're not booing the man of who Kirk Cousins is. We're booing the player. If you boo an opposing player at your home stadium, I will never say anything about it. Why does it matter if you boo the opposing team? You don't want the opposing team to win. Go ahead and boo them. I don't care. The Vikings got to win. Maybe Kirk got rattled because of it. I don't care. We're not booing the man. We're booing the player. If we make it to the Super Bowl, do we re-sign Darnold or stick with JJ? Vikings fans. This is the most Vikings fake Facebook post of all time. If we make it to the Super Bowl, dog, I'm focused on the next week. I'm not even thinking about the Super Bowl right now. I would never want half y'all as my friends. You turn on people out of nowhere. Darnold has been one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and half y'all are just begging to get rid of him. All of you basement, beer belly, know-it-all wannabe GMs need to pipe down and let this team that has done a great job these past few seasons do their jobs. I agree with this, but at the same time, it's sports, man. This is what people want to talk about. They want to give their opinions. They want to say, and I do listen. Sam Darnold's been great. Don't get me wrong, but I do think the right move is to stick with JJ McCarthy. Good thing Vikings didn't dump Addison after he got that DUI. I mean, the Vikings would never dump a guy after getting a D-dub. Welcome to the NFL. We got players beating their wives, and they don't get any punishments. It's unbelievable. Man, I wish they had kept Romo for at least one more week because I bet he would have made that kick. I don't even know what to say to that. If we think this is bad, just wait until next week when Kirko Chains embarrasses this defense. That was posted on December 1st, a week before the game. That's bad ball knowledge. Bad ball knowledge. Bad ball knowledge. It's crazy. That concludes the Vikings Facebook post of the week. I love that segment. Minnesota Vikings punishment. We do not have to make a presentation on what I would do with Kirk Cousins' career earnings as a Viking. It would have been fun. It would have been fun, but it's not going to happen. 11-2, baby. I have to eat an entire deep dish pizza from Giordano's if the Vikings lose. There is not a Giordano's in Minnesota anymore. I did not realize that. So I'm either going to have to go to Chicago or order one or do a deep dish pizza of something else. I don't know. We're going to figure it out. If that happens, let's just get a Vikings dub. Vikings versus Bears preview. We just played them like 2 weeks ago, so there's not that much of a preview. The whiteout game is going to be sick. The jerseys are going to look so clean. Don't forget, whiteout gear, unreal. Get it now as it lasts. It might be sold out by the time you're listening to this. You should go check, though. It's great stuff. People complain about the price tag, but you want to pay for something that's quality, that's going to last for years, and that it's actually comfortable wearing and it fits you well. I wear Unreal clothes every single day. They make literally the best clothes that I own. I wear it every day. It's the best stuff. So please go get your stuff. Besides that 49ers game, the Bears have been playing better. They look better against us. They look better against the Lions. We need to slow down the scrambling of Caleb Williams. We cannot let that dude get comfortable because he loves scrambling around, and that's what he was doing the first time we played them, and he got in his zone. The Vikings need to get into his head. Pass rush needs to be there. Secondary just needs to clamp down on these wide receivers. They're good wide receivers. So the Bears defense has been struggling in what seems like all aspects of the game. So let's get the run game going. Let's not fumble at the 1 yard line. Let's not make this a repeat of 2 weeks ago. Let's just get in, get out with a win. 24-7 Vikes. Why not? Let's do it. National TV Minnesota Vikings coming off a big win at home is such a perfect setup for a letdown. But the one thing that saved me, there's another Monday Night Football game on. Falcons Raiders, Kirk Cousins against Aiden O'Connell. No one's going to want to watch that game, but it kind of takes the primetime-ish thoughts in my head out with 2 games going on at the same time. I literally just found this out yesterday that there was 2 games going on at the same time. I love it, though. I think it takes some of the pressure off of this team. I absolutely love it. But like I said, need to do it. Big win. Don't count our chickens. We need to get this dub against the Bears. Let's do it. All right. Chat GPT player of the day. I'm going to go with Antoine Winfield. Antoine Winfield. And they say, one of the most random Minnesota Vikings players that come to mind, Travarius Jackson. Travarius Jackson, rest in peace. Quarterback when the legend APAD was here. Rest in peace, Travarius Jackson, though, for real. Kind of a sad note to end the show on. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you tuning in. Make sure to message me on Instagram at Strictly Layton. I answer almost all DMs. as long as it's some good stuff. If you're going to chirp me, I'm not going to answer. Let me know what I need to work on. Let me know what you want to see or hear from the podcast in coming weeks. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.